Hello everyone, I am your host for today. My name is Connor and welcome back to another episode of Meet the Fleet. Yeah, it's another video. I said I'd record videos last week and I didn't get around to doing that, and today is Thursday when I'm recording this. So yeah, I'm a what's the word? Very not lazy at all. But anyway, I have a very special custom showcase to show you, mainly because these are on 3 more OCs, as you know, a lot of my customs are, and two of them, mainly one of them, but I'll say two for the sake of it, but two of them are using the prints that I got from Tidmouth Yard Studios, which I'm really pumped for. And these are all American engines. And they're all from the same railroad, too, so top tier. And yeah, that's great. So yeah, let me just go ahead and move my dude out of the way, put him back in his shed. You know, the one with the broken fucking door. Alright, so now we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. Now, I honestly don't know what order to go in, so I guess we'll just go ahead and start with... I don't know. Let's go ahead and start with... Let's start with the print. Please don't give me trouble. This, not gonna lie, this one has been giving me a little bit of trouble. Mainly the part, or one of the chassis. Let me just put you back in there. There we go. Okay. I'd like you to meet one of the two Pennsylvania Railroad L1 classes. And my God, here, I don't know why my bud keeps moving, but I am very excited about how this turned out. Just give you a quick sort of spin around. Just use it with this hand. There we go. Now, as you already know, I made a video where I unboxed the prints for, these engines. And, they were blank, obviously. But I think I mentioned it on Twitter, but I've been on a American kick lately when it comes to, railways and locomotives and stuff. And so I've just been working on a bunch of American engines, and this guy is one of them. Now, when it comes to American engines, I'm usually not the biggest fan of them, unless it's the Doodlebug, but, that's just me. I love Doodlebug. I love a good old Doodlebug. These engines have been getting me back into, well, not really back, I've been getting me into the American railroad spirit. And, yeah. And I just a little disclaimer. These engines, all three of these engines have the same livery, so, just throwing that out there. So if anyone is wondering why they look the same, they're from the same railroad, they have the same livery, whatever. So yeah, let me show you this dude up close. And yeah, as you can see, the chassis spins around. Now, okay, let me give some backstory on the chassis real quick. So, the chassis I used, the bogies I used come from all for the Doodlebug, the other L1 and this L1 all use bogies from Gordon's, just trash Gordon's that I had. So yeah, and then I ended up keeping these little pins at the bottom, and I use them to, if I ever need to take them out, like that. This one comes out easy. That's why I was saying don't give me trouble, because this one's been coming out really easy. And let me just show you what I did here. So, essentially, I poked a hole. Well, okay, so what I did first was I actually held these prints up to the light while they were still blank, and I noticed that the supports, that the holes that I poked were sort of in between supports. So when I was putting the holes in, they didn't go through any supports, which is great because I didn't want that problem going forward. I didn't, I guess it was just by chance. I don't know. It was perfect the way it played out. But yeah, I did that for all of them. I did it for the Doodlebug first, but the character's not done yet. So yeah, let me just go and get this back on. Yeah. So essentially, okay, more backstory. I bought a second Hank. I bought another Hank mainly because I needed the cow catcher. And because I also was making another character using a Hank, but, well, those two characters are next. I essentially cut off the cow catcher of the other Hank, painted it black, and essentially these cow catchers are going to be interchangeable if I ever make any more American locomotives, especially like if I'm filming with both L1s, then, interchangeable things. So, yeah. And, the face actually came from here. Let me just bring that back, like, right here. Is it looking good? Yeah. The face came, once again, it came from my friend who does all of the CGI mesh faces for me. Love her to bits. Absolutely love her. She is a godsend. This was actually a sort of version, I guess, of a Big City Engine face that she did. But I thought it was perfect for the character that I'm portraying here. Now, another disclaimer, none of these I'm not giving away any of these characters' names until the episode that they star in, that they get introduced in. That's when I'll say their names. Also, I don't have the names on the bottom here or any signature because I literally just got done making these. So I guess that's another thing I could do. But next will be the livery. Essentially, I used what is it called? I used 3 folk art colors. I used pure black for the main color, the wheels, everything. I used a medium gray for the smoke boxes, and it's called True Burgundy for the roof, back of the tenders on all of them, and I also used it for the main red on the Doodlebug. So yeah. Now let's move on to the tender. Now the tender is probably my favorite part, honestly, because of, it just fits. It just fits the entire aesthetic and I love it so much. For being American engines, I still have, Gavin and Rowan sitting next to me. This is a good comparison. For British engine, American engine fits pretty well. So essentially what I did was this was actually, I'm using the, hold on, this is the right one, sorry. I actually used I believe one of them is a Oliver, the next one is an Oliver chassis. This one is a Mike chassis from an old Jock Custom that I had that I wasn't using. It was only the running board, but I didn't really care for it. So I just took the chassis off, cut off the knobs. I still need to, add this little paint thing, but then I painted this thing black. I painted all of these black before I glued them on. I might have talked about it before, but it's called Talus. And essentially what it is it's sort of little pieces of ballast, and I mixed it with watered down Mod Podge and black paint, and then kept adding the Mod Podge as it was settling down and it was drying. Then I added black paint. Then I added the red, and I made sure to paint the underside of it black too. That way the white wouldn't stick out. Same thing with the L1. Yeah, so that is the first American engine done. Let me just go ahead and get this guy out of the way. God, it feels so awkward putting him on a turntable because he's so large. All right, next we are going to get into probably the character who's going to be seen most, or the second character who might be more prevalent, and that is this guy. Now, this is actually one of Hank's brothers. He is a... Hold on. God damn it. There we go. He is actually one of Hank's brothers, and if you know anything about American bases... Bases? Bases I don't fucking know. Hank is a Pennsylvania Railroad K4. That's what this guy is. And yeah, same thing paint scheme wise with the L1, same cow catcher and everything. I just love it. He just looks big, and I love it. And the face fits perfectly for what I was going for with the character. Originally, when I was going to bring a K4 OC into my series, but he was going to be this sort of burnt sienna kind of color with orange or red lining or something like that. And I figured, you know what, if I'm making all of these engines for the American, for season 2 or 3, why not just have them all be part of the same railroad, you know? So yeah, I have, you know, this guy, and he's awesome. I already have his personality sorted out, his name sorted out, and, you know, it's great. You know, same thing that I did for the L1, you know, not taking off the chassis or whatever. And, you know, I just love it. I absolutely love this guy so much. Tender is the same thing, you know. Same thing I explained for the L1. Now, for one of these this tender in particular is also going to be interchangeable with the other L1. Because compared to the next custom, I figured having a K4 with this tender would be perfect, because the next guy I'm showing you has, you know, pretty small considering his wheel config. But yeah, I just figured, you know, it'll be better if you have this kind of tender. So yeah, that is that guy. Lastly is probably my favorite because of some scratch building, which I don't usually do on engines, but, you know, well, I say that and, you know, have these guys and my OC back there. So some scratch building isn't, you know, sorted out. But here we go. I present to you the only engine on here with a proper wheel basis. It's interesting. This guy has an actual real life, or a correct wheel basis. And if you don't know what this guy is, he is a Pennsylvania Railroad Class C1, which is a type of switcher. A switcher is essentially America's version of a shunter. They definitely are shunters. And I say proper wheel configuration because he's a short, these engines are short, or they're tiny, but their wheel configuration, they are a 080 wheel configuration. And this guy is a fucking shunter. These were shunters for the Pennsylvania Railroad, which was fucking insane to me. It's honestly insane. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy, because he is definitely probably my favorite of the three. I did a lot to this guy. So if you can tell already, you know, this was originally a Hank. I cut off the thingy, cow catcher, and you know, painted the tender black. This was actually a Hero tender, and my dumbass thought it was a fucking Hank tender. They're literally the same shape. So yeah, you know, same color scheme, but originally I had this guy just straight as a Hank, painted black. But I decided to go further than that, because I wanted this guy to stand out. And I'm probably going to end up doing the same sort of shaping for the other two. But for now, I want to keep it like this. So what I essentially did was I took little wooden popsicle sticks and cut them up, and essentially this is 2 layers of the sticks, which goes to show how thin they were. I stacked 2 layers here for that weird little like bump thing here, and then on the back, or on the other side, I added 1 for like a little step, and it goes all the way back to here. Because if you look at photos of a C1, both sides are different. So yeah, that's essentially it. Now the front is my favorite part of all 3 of these, and it was a pain in the ass to do. So if you look up close, let me just sort of get a good shot of this. I made a custom cow catcher for the C1, and I am so proud of how it turned out. I have never made a custom cow catcher before. Originally, I was just going to use the Hank one, but I figured, you know what? Let's go all out with this guy. I was going to go all out with these 2 as well, like add lamps and shit. I was going to add a lamp onto this guy, but I figured, you know what? I'll just have the basic details for now. So essentially, this is all made out of the same sticks I was talking about. I essentially, okay, this main shape here, this little like weird, I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, this weird little shape here took me so long to fucking get right, and it's still not perfect. Like, both sides are still uneven on it. But, yeah, it's still not perfect, but I'm honestly fine with that. Then I added, like, this little, I don't know how to describe it, this little, little extension, and then I added that weird little, I looked at it closer on the image, and it's a wire, like, pipe thing, but I figured having this here would be better to sort of signify that. And then I added these little 4 bars, and then the little part down here for the cow catcher. And again, after looking at images, this bar is actually split in 2. It's 2 different bars. But I figured, since I'm not adding magnets to these, and if I did, it would be literally too low to add a magnet. Like it'd be too low to add a magnet here. I figured, you know, it'd be better to just, you know, have it connected. Yeah, I'm super fucking pumped about how this guy turned out. And I love the face, and for the character I'm trying to portray, fits perfect. Fits absolutely perfect. Tender, you know, it's just the same thing I did, but on a smaller scale. Pretty good, you know? So yeah, that was my Meet the Fleet for this week, or probably my only video for this week, as, you know, I have other things planned. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I have, you know, showing these guys off. Let me know what you think of these guys. Honestly, let me know what you think, because I'm really proud of them, and I hope to welcome them in very, very soon. Maybe do some like train spotting kind of content with them, but for now, this is them. I've been your host for tonight. Thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.